Okay, so I'm going to show you how I'm putting in my chord tones here, my non-chord tones in a chord example here. So if, for example, I'm in the key of C here, I created a chord progression of 1, 6, 4, 5, 1. And everything works here with our voice leading rules. Now from our assignment, I'm going to put in neighbor tones, passing tones, suspensions, and retardations. Passing tones and neighbor tones are pretty easy to put in because a neighbor tone, you just have to find two similar chord tones and then go above it or below it. So you can see there's two sames here, two similar tones here, two similar tones. This is the same. So really, we'll leave that one for last. And passing tones, you just have to find instances where there are skips in one of the voices. So for example, in the alto here, I skip from an F to a D, so I could put a passing tone in here. In the bass, I have a skip here and here, and then even here, so I have a couple opportunities for passing tones there. The hardest ones to put in are the suspension and the retardation. So what you're going to look for, see, a suspension is when you're on the same tone and then you resolve a step down, and a retardation is when you're on the same tone and resolve a step up. So we have to look for an instance where something moves up. One of the voices moves up. I look here in the tenor, this voice moves up, so I know I can put my retardation there. This voice moves up as well, so I could put a retardation there. This moves down by step, I could put a suspension there. This moves down by step, I could put a suspension there. Here, same tone. Here we have the tone moves up, so I could put a retardation there. The tone moves up in the soprano from G to A here, so I could put a retardation there. So it looks like I really only have one opportunity two opportunities for suspensions. I'm going to put that in first. So I'm going to grab my A, and now note flight's a little weird, so to keep our half notes in the other voices, I'm going to have to tie two quarter notes together. So here I go. I'm going to take this A, turn it into a quarter note, because that's where my suspension's going to go. Whoops, actually, I'm sorry. I'm putting it here, and I'm going to turn that G to a quarter note. And first I'm going to put the D back in and tie that. So now that's basically essentially a half note now. And then I'm going to take this G, which is part of my 5 chord, and I'm going to keep that A the same. So now I tie these two together, and that's my retardation because it's waiting, and then I just have to resolve it here to a G. And there it is. So then what I do is I click that non-chord tone, and I want you to label it. So I'm going to label that non-chord tone RIT. So that one's done. Now I have to do a suspension, and I'm sorry, this isn't a retardation, this is suspension, my bad. I'm kind of moving a little quick here. So there we go, SUS. Now I want to do a retardation, which is when the pitch goes up. So I have a couple instances here where I see the alto goes up a voice, I see the tenor over here goes up a voice, so I'm going to put my retardation there. So here we go. For this to be a retardation, I have to let it sit on the next chord and keep the pitch. So this has to stay as a B. And then what I'm going to do there is change that to a half note. And now I have to basically create another half note here and tie these two together so it acts like a whole note. And now to make this a 1 chord, I just have to get a C in there again as a half note. And then I label this non-chord tone using my lyric tool as a retardation. And so just so we can see it, I'll just do this. So now there I have my retardation. I'll get rid of this extra measure. Or I won't, maybe. Let me just get back to what we're doing here. So now, passing tone and neighbor tone's all that's left. I'm going to put a passing tone in the bass here between the A, the C, and the A. There's my passing tone. I'm going to label that as PT. And I just have to include my C that was in there before and tie these two so it's a half note again. And then I'm finally left with an upper neighbor. I'll put that up here in the soprano. I'll put a quarter note there. There's my upper neighbor. And add my E here. and tie these two. And then label this with my lyric tool as an neighbor tone. Then I would save it and then turn it in. But first I want to listen to the whole thing. So I'm going to start here. I'll put it at 90 and I'll hit play. And there you have it. So I hope this helped out.